Lying on the beach with the person that you love is a magical moment. At least it is supposed to be. Taking a trip with your significant other offers plenty of romantic opportunities. When you're with the person that you love, the rest of the world just kind of seems to fade away. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually fade away. And a lot of the time, the rest of the world is pretty dangerous. My name is Brianne, and I am the host and creator of Among the Dirt and Trees, a show where we explore true crime cases that occur out in nature. In today's episode, which marks 2 years of Among the Dirt and Trees, we are going to discuss the 2004 murders of Jason Allen and Lindsay Cutshall, a young engaged couple that were violently murdered while on a 3-day trip through California. Well, you all had 2 weeks to get back to me about your opinions on the cannibals hiding in our national parks, and the numbers are officially in. Every single one of you is too afraid to admit to the cannibal problem. I get it, you probably don't want to end up on a government watch list. If I suddenly disappear, I will at least vanish peacefully knowing that you all are safe. Before we get onto the case, I do just want to let you know that this episode is a little experimental. Due to an unexpected carpet issue, my home is currently in shambles and I don't have my actual recording space. I am currently recording from a couch in my family room, so if there is anything wrong with the sound, just know that it is me and not my amazing producer, John. By next week, I should be fully back online with everything, so wish me luck. Jason and Lindsay were an engaged young couple. They had a whirlwind romance that included getting engaged after only 6 weeks of meeting one another at a religious college. These two did everything together, including working together at a Christian summer camp. Then, for their next adventure, they decided to go on a trip together. This trip would lead them to Fish Head Beach. I think what's particularly tragic about this is the fact that it doesn't sound like they meant to end up on this beach. It is believed that they actually planned to stay somewhere else, and it just didn't work out. So, the young couple decided to break some rules and camp on the beach, which was not exactly legal where they were. Unfortunately, this decision would be their last. In true crime, a lot of people die in a lot of different ways. Some people suffer, while others meet their end without notice. In this case, it is believed that Lindsay and Jason didn't suffer at all. For them, their story ended with them going to sleep. It's just that someone else wrote the ending to their story while they dreamt under the stars. A person walked up looking to kill. And they did. This was a story that was shared for years until the killer later admitted to shooting Jason first and said that Lindsay actually woke up for a brief moment before he killed her. It is assumed that the killer acted quickly. The person shot them both and then simply walked away. Police learned about their murders after receiving a report about somebody possibly being stuck in the area. When they arrived, they found Lindsay and Jason dead. An investigation began immediately, but police really didn't have any luck at first. They had a couple of potential suspects, but nothing concrete. The reality was that the area was known to be frequented by shady characters at night, and most of them were the kind of people that you couldn't exactly trace. But the murders themselves were also weird. As far as police could tell, all of their belongings were left untouched. Even though they had plenty to take, no one took anything. There weren't any signs of a struggle. It really just looked like someone walked up on them while they were asleep and then shot them. The randomness and senselessness of it is something that I find particularly haunting. This is a really true example of simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Although the murder wasn't solved quickly, police did end up finding the killer 13 years later. The killer is Sean Gallen. Police had Gallen as a potential suspect previously because they found him with a stolen gun hiding on the beach in camo. But despite all of that, they were unable to tie it back to him. All those years later, they had him in custody for killing his brother. But that is a different story. He also shot another man with a homemade bow and arrow and tried to blow someone up after a fight, ultimately harming the guy's wife instead. So, suffice it to say that he was not exactly a nice guy. I honestly can't imagine how a man with this record was out on the streets at all, but what matters here is that he basically just spontaneously gave himself up once police had him. He admitted to killing Lindsay and Jason, and he knew a lot of details that only the killer would know. In the end, Gallen was sentenced to 94 years in prison. And as Lindsay's mother said, Sean Gallen won't see the light of day again. So, if you would like to discuss your next romantic getaway, the risks associated with sleeping on the beach that don't include murder, or the ways that repeat violent offenders end up back on the streets, feel free to contact me on Twitter or Instagram using the tag @thatpod. Thanks, guys.